What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at all the new yellow and black cards coming around in BT8. We are at that glorious stage where the set list has been revealed so we can go and look at all the new cards, and that is exactly what we are doing here. There are 3 yellow cards we've yet to look at, there are 4 black cards we have yet to look at, so that seems like a nice number to go through and do a little bit of a speed round. I love talking about new Digimon cards, and now we can. And we actually can quite a lot, and I'm in no way, shape or form annoyed about this, because talking about Digimon cards is one of my favourite things. So starting off, we have got ourselves a vanilla Elecmon, and unfortunately we are not starting on a particular high here. This is not a particularly good card, this is not a particularly exciting card. To put it bluntly, there really isn't very much to like about this card. 3 cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 4,000 power. It's no cheaper to play normally. It's no cheaper to Digivolve, and I know it can't be, you would have to gain memory to do so and all of that, but most level 3s are 0 cost to Digivolve and need more. The only thing you've got to hang your hat on here is 4,000 power, and frankly it's not enough. The only reason to play vanilla level 3s, there's 2 reasons. One is they are cheaper to play, like all your 2 costs, and the second reason is that they are powerful enough to survive all of the Rookie Rush hate. And 4,000 power is not enough to survive the Rookie Rush hate. It's no cheaper to play than normal. There are very few bad Digimon cards out there, but unfortunately I think this one might fit the bill. Now, Betsumon isn't a bad card, but it haunts my dreams. This is one of the weirdest, most disturbing artworks I've seen. It's a Digimon dressed as another Digimon playing the Digimon TCG. And I've told you more than once, I am a huge fan of cards where the artwork involves a Digimon playing the card game. Something about that tickles me and makes me very happy on my insides. Betsumon doesn't. This artwork creeps me out and I don't like it. However, we got a level 5, 6 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 7,000 power. For what it's worth, 6 cost to play normally is slightly cheaper than normal. But when you Digivolve, you may trash a card in your hand. If you do, this Digimon is also treated as the colour of the trashed card for the turn. And then if this Digimon has 2 or more colours, draw 2 cards. Drawing 2 when you Digivolve into a level 5 is nuts. Now essentially what this boils down to is, if you trash a non-yellow card from your hand, draw 2. Which is crazy. That is a really good one. Now it is important to note that unlike a lot of the purple cards we see, you have to trash before you draw. You don't draw 2 unless you trash a non-yellow card from your hand, which is not ideal. However, totally worth it. Plus you get to be another colour, so that will allow you to play different colour option cards, or just something as simple as, if I'm playing a hybrid yellow-red deck, and I don't have any red level 5s to evolve into my, WRECKS. Everyone loves WRECKS, right? So if I don't have a red level 5 to Digivolve into my WRECKS, what I can do is trash a red card from my hand, I then Digivolve into Betsumon and draw 2, and then I'm a red level 5, which means I can Digivolve into WRECKS. If there was an inheritable skill here, this would be way more interesting, because you could give that inheritable skill to any level 6. There isn't, but drawing 2 cards is good, and making yourself into any colour can actually really help the consistency, especially in a dual colour deck. So I like this one a lot. Not the artwork. The artwork is terrifying. I would love an alternate artwork, please. However, playability-wise, this one's fun. And the last yellow card we haven't talked about yet is Kokuwamon, and unfortunately here we do just have another vanilla Digimon. 7 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 9,000 power. I don't like it. It's a normal cost to play, normal cost to Digivolve, and don't get me wrong, it's more powerful than your average level 5. Your average level 5 has 7,000 power, this has 9,000 power, so clearly this is a very good thing, and I don't even really care, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, it's not enough. I want it to be enough, but it's not. The fact of the matter is, if you want a yellow Digimon, let's go Angel Woman, same cost, 10,000 power. If you want a purple Digimon, let's go Phantomon, same cost, 10,000 power. However, and there is one saving grace of this card, and there's one reason why it's not a terrible card, and the reason it's not a terrible card is because it's dual color. It is objectively worse than Angel Woman. It is objectively worse than Phantomon. It cannot stand up to those two cards. There is no real counter-argument. However, it's a dual-color card. So, if you want a more powerful level 5, and you're playing a dual-color yellow or purple, then yes, at that point, this becomes a good option. That is the only time it becomes a good option, but there is a reason for it. It's not a great reason, but if you want to play a dual color deck, this is both yellow and purple. It digivolves from both yellow and purple. It is a proper dual color deck. It is not as good as the other powerful vanilla level 5s, but because it's dual color, if you're making a dual color deck, you might find some utility. Now moving over into black, we've got a Digitama we've not talked about yet. We've got Kokuwamon. I should mention I haven't said this yet, which is very naughty of me, so let me say it now. Our translations here come from the lovely folks over at DigimonCard.dev, and I've said this quite a lot, but I mean it very sincerely. We are pretty big fans of the lovely folks over at DigimonCard.dev. Those folks are awesome. And what we've got here is one inheritable skill once per turn. When an effect places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, it gains 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Really important that it's until the end of your opponent's next turn, because remember, one of the things that black does better is blocking. So this will give you more power as a blocker on your opponent's turn, which is clearly a good thing. And we've seen all the X antibody stuff that puts cards underneath you. Ginryumon, for instance, when you Digivolve, you can place a Digimon card with X antibody in its type under this Digimon, and then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. So if you're playing that kind of X antibody deck, and it does tend to be X antibody at the moment, then yes, this is a great Digitama. Like all Digitama, it's very much a case of it will work sometimes. It's for specific decks, not for everybody. But if you're playing the specific deck, this is a good idea. If you're not, this is not. Pretty simple when it comes down to it. Now, Kokuwamon is coming along here as a lovely new card. It's a level 3, free cost to play, 0 cost to Digivolve, 3,000 power. And on all turns, players cannot ignore Digivolution requirements. This is a game-breaking card. This is an awesome, phenomenal, wonderful, brilliant card. This is a kind of card that will absolutely wreck decks. And I mean absolutely wreck decks. Because, for instance, one of the really good decks around at the moment is Ginryumon Bond of Friendship. Great card. However, one of the reasons it's such a good deck is because Matsushita says you can Digivolve one of your Gabmon into a Gabmon Bond of Friendship in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost, ignoring its level Digivolution requirements. Well, unfortunately, Kokuwamon comes here and goes, "Oh, sorry, mate. You can't actually ignore Digivolution requirements." Now, Gabmon Bond of Friendship is just one example because that is a real top tier deck at the moment. But let me be super clear about this. Any deck that is trying to ignore Digivolution requirements, and there are a bunch of them out there, is going to be terrified of this card. Because one of the advantages of Gabmon Bond of Friendship is that you don't have to actually muck about with all your level 4s and 5s. You can go from a level 3 straight into Gabmon Bond of Friendship. That's one of the reasons the card is so good. If I'm turning around and now telling you that you can't do that, that changes your entire deck. At which point, you have to either play a way around it or hope you don't face it, and this is a standard cost level 3 Digimon with a static skill, and sure, your opponent can go after it, but remember, if you never attack with Kokuwamon, it's never going to be suspended, so your opponent can't attack it, so they will have to find another way to take it down, some kind of skill, or they'll have to find a way to rest it, and if your opponent can't do that, you can shut down entire decks like this, And I find that absolutely hilarious. If you want another example, consider the promo Lobomon, which lets you Digivolve into an Ancient Ginryumon in your hand for a memory cost of 1, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. That is another really good deck that will be completely hurt by this. I'm not saying unplayable. There is always ways to, change the deck, build around it, etc. You might have a couple of other ways, etc. I'm not saying it's going to completely shut down the deck, but I'm saying that it will completely shut down some builds, and I am saying that is going to slow it down enough to be a huge problem. I imagine we are going to probably have, or at least there's a decent chance we will, have this skill coming in other colours. Right now, this is one of the single most impactful cards in the entire set. It's why it got a bit more time than the others, because it's nuts. Now, THUNDERDON here is fine. Level 4, 4 cost to play normally, 2 cost to Digivolve, 6,000 power. It's a powerful card for a level 4, and it's also treated as a Mamamon, so there are cards around which will refer to Mamamon, and THUNDERDON totally count. It's not a particularly good card, it's slightly more powerful, and I suppose that's lovely, but I think it's fair to say it's not a card about which we're going to be getting particularly excited. I hope that doesn't sound mean. Actually, right, here's one example of where it will be good. So, Bancho Mamamon here. When you Digivolve, you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and for each of your opponent's Digimon, you may play a card with Mamamon in its name from among them with a play cost of 10 or less for free. You've then got Catch Mamamon. When you're Digivolving, you return up to 4 cards with Mamamon in their name from your hand or trash to the top of your deck, and if 3 or more were returned, you de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. And I always said, when I looked at this before, I said, well, we really want a level 4 Mamamon so that you can Digivolve it into Catch Mamamon and then Digivolve it into Bancho Mamamon, so you can essentially chain this skill. And this is actually the first level 4 we've seen that counts as Mamamon. So I kind of take back what I said a minute ago already. This is actually relevant because it's a level 4 Mamamon, and it's the only level 4 Mamamon. Every other one we've seen is a level 5, other than Bancho Mamamon, which is a level 6. So if you're going for that combo, if you're playing that line, this is actually kind of relevant. And then finishing off, we can take a little bit of a look at Ginryumon, because it's a level 4 we've not looked at yet. 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to Digivolve, 6,000 power. It's on the higher end of cost and power for a level 4. And on your opponent's turn, while this Digimon has X antibody in its traits, it gains blocker. Well, I told you earlier we got things like Aoyamon running around, which are X antibody cards, and they like putting X antibody cards underneath them. If you're playing that kind of deck, good news, you've now got blocker. And that's it. That's what this card does. This exists to be the blocker for X antibody decks. Simple as that. And there are a bunch of cards that can put this under your other cards or under itself, and that is going to help you very much indeed. In the same way that WRECKS from BT8 gives you security attack +1, which is honestly kind of nice, this one gives you blocker. Simple as that. If that's what you're into, brilliant, good news, this is fun. If it's not, that's fine too, ladies and gentlemen. That's fine too. The real star of this video is indisputably, as far as I'm concerned at least, your Kokuwamon. That is a skill which is going to turn off a whole bunch of decks and be kind of hilarious for you, not for your opponent. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of these cards. I want to know which of these excite you. I want to know which of these don't seem much fun. I want to know, quite frankly, anything that you want to tell me. So go nuts in the comment section, would you? But be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWRECKS. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.